Namaste, and welcome back to Freedom for Eternity. I am your host, Rajeev Vashista, and today I have a very special story for you. This is not just any story. This is a story that could change the way you look at your own life, your habits, and your dreams. This story is part of our ongoing series, Why Controlling Habits Always Fail. You see, so many of us believe that if we just read enough books, watch enough YouTube videos, or listen to enough podcasts, we will master a skill. We think knowledge is power, but let me tell you a secret, knowledge is only potential power. It becomes real only when you apply it. Through this story of two friends, Alex and Alfred, we are trying to show you that no matter how much you read or consume content on a subject, unless you get your hands dirty, unless you do the work, nothing can truly help you. So sit back, listen closely, and let this message sink deep into your heart. And remember, if this resonates with you, please like this video, comment with your questions or thoughts, subscribe to the Freedom for Eternity channel, and share this with everyone who needs to hear this truth.
Alex and Alfred grew up on the same street, two halves of a whole. Alex was a doer, always taking apart clocks to see how they worked and putting them back together, usually with a few extra parts left over. Alfred was a thinker, content to read encyclopedias and imagine far-off places. They were inseparable, their friendship a balance of action and thought. When the nation called, they enlisted in the army together. The bond held, even in the rigid new world of boot camp. Their first year was dedicated to the rifle. They were given the same standard issue weapon, a sleek instrument of steel and purpose, and told to master it. Alex's eyes lit up. He saw a challenge. He spent his free time at the firing range, feeling the rifle's kick against his shoulder, learning its rhythm. He signed up for every simulation, every exercise where they cleared mock villages, his heart pounding not with fear, but with focus. Every miss was a lesson, and every lesson was etched into his muscles. Alfred, however, preferred the library. He read the rifle's technical manual cover to cover. He studied ballistics tables and famous battle tactics. When it was his turn on the range, he was often distracted, his shots going wide. "Why waste the energy, Alex?" he'd say, wiping sweat from his brow. "I've read about every possible scenario. I know exactly what to do in theory. Practice is just repetition." Alex would just shake his head. "Theory is a map, Alf. But you have to walk the road to know it." A year passed, then another. Alex's hands grew calloused and sure. He'd been through urban combat simulators, night infiltration courses, and stress shoots where the targets popped up without warning. His faults had been found, exploited, and corrected under the watchful eyes of sergeants. His rifle was no longer a tool, it was an extension of his will. Alfred, meanwhile, had listened to dozens of veteran speakers, memorized countless field manuals, and could debate military history for hours. He knew the theory of warfare inside and out. Then, the war started. They were deployed together, two friends from the same street now facing the same, terrifying reality. The Humvee screeched to a halt, and the world outside their window dissolved into chaos. The air was torn apart by the crack of enemy fire and the thunder of explosions. This was no simulation. This was real. Alfred froze. The sounds, the smells of cordite and dust, the sheer, violent unpredictability of it, it was nothing like the quiet pages of his books. His hands, which had only ever held a rifle on a peaceful range, trembled violently. The manual he'd memorized was gone, replaced by a screaming, primal fear. Alex, however, moved with a calm that was almost unnerving. His body took over. He dropped to a knee, his rifle finding his shoulder as naturally as breathing. He saw a muzzle flash from a window and fired a controlled burst. Years of practice had hardwired his reactions. He was an asset. He saw Alfred, paralyzed and fumbling with his weapon, his face pale with terror. For a split second, Alex's heart ached for his friend. Then, with the brutal honesty of the moment, he shouted over the roar of battle, "Sorry, mate. This is war. I can't give you any hands-on practice now. We're all on our own. You're either an asset or a liability, based on what you really know." The words hit Alfred like a physical blow. In that moment, surrounded by smoke and fire, he understood. The books hadn't prepared him for the weight of the rifle in his shaking hands, or the deafening roar of his own fear. He had the map, but Alex was the one who had walked the road. And on this road, there were no second chances.
So, my friends, we come back to the question, was Alfred a bad person? No, he was intelligent, he was dedicated to learning. But he made a fatal mistake. He confused reading about the battle with actually fighting it. How many of us are like Alfred? We want health, so we watch fitness videos but never sweat. We want peace, so we read spiritual books but never sit in silence. We want success, so we buy courses but never take the first imperfect step. Alex didn't just know his rifle, he became one with it through practice. That is the difference between theory and mastery. If you like this story from the Why Controlling Habits Always Fail series, please hit that like button. It tells the algorithm that this message matters. Leave a comment below, I want to hear from you. Have you ever had an Alfred moment in your life? Share it with us, and if you haven't already, subscribe to Freedom for Eternity so you never miss another story. Share this video with someone who is all talk and no action. Let's wake up together. Thank you for listening. Jai Hind, Freedom for Eternity.